Alrighty, what is up, you guys? Welcome to my first ever complete breakdown video. I'm super excited to bring this to you guys because behind my camera here, I've literally compiled everything that you could possibly need to know about making 10K per month or more with remote sales. Even if this is like literally the first time that you've ever heard about doing remote sales, we'll cover everything from the basics, like dialing in your mindset, to understanding the industry, how do you land your role, and then we'll even dive into some of the specifics, like what exactly do your ideal clients look like, how do you actually appointment set for them, and how do you even scale past 10K per month in the next couple of years here. I'll be giving you guys actual outreach strategies, DM scripts, and scaling roadmaps that are working right now so that you can literally just take them and just like get to work and start making money in the next 30 days or so if you so choose to actually go out and do the work. And I know that these work because they're some of the exact strategies that my one-on-one coaching students are using and they're crushing it with right now. And real quick, if you guys don't know who I am and you've like never seen me before, my name is Trevor. I've been doing remote sales for a little over 2.5 years now. And to this day, I've made a little over $1 million take home, which has obviously completely changed my life here. And if you want to hear a little bit more about my story, I have videos on my channel. I've probably talked about my story a couple times now on my channel, so you can go and find that if you're interested in that. But for now, I'm like too excited to jump into this roadmap. So let's get straight into it. I'm going to minimize my camera because I'm not that important, and we're going to dive into here. So first things first, this is the 10K per month remote sales mastery blueprint. And so this is where you're at right now. You're wanting to look into ways to make money online. You're wanting to make money online. You're currently stuck in a 9-to-5 job, or you're in college and you're a bit frustrated with that route. Your parents don't believe that making money online is possible, and you just want to be able to live a comfortable life where you don't have to worry about the price of things, and you want to move out of your hometown and move somewhere coastal, right? Like, I get it. Like, it's the same thing that I wanted when I first was looking into ways to make money online. And then this is the desired situation. You want to make 10K per month. You want to move to a coastal city. You want to make enough money so that you don't have to worry about the cost of things and live like a slightly luxurious life. But with that being said, there's a couple things that are stopping you from getting there right now. And there's really like 3 main steps. Number 1, we need to build foundations. Number 2, we need to land a role. And then number 3, we need to master and scale our skill sets. So the first thing that we're going to be talking about here is building our foundations, which is step 1, where we need to dial in our mindset. We need to overview the industry, and then we need to understand systems and processes. And just to kind of go into this a little bit further, I'll talk about mindset more in a second. But really, for like remote sales, there's 2 types of funnels that people are running. Basically, if you guys don't know, remote sales, you basically go in and work for somebody that's running an info product business. And there's 2 funnels that these people are running really in like 2024. They're running paid ads and organic with short form content, long form content. And basically they get attention on social media, and they need a DM setter to go in there and basically convert the likes, the follows, the comments, the engagement that they're getting on social media into more sales calls for their coaching program or online course, right? And so basically your job would be to go in and have DM conversations with people and basically sell people calls, which is actually pretty simple to do. I'll talk about how to do that in a second, but this is like a standard funnel. And then for the people who are scaling a little bit further right now, maybe they have a little bit more capital, and maybe they're making 100, 200, 300K per month already, which, by the way, yes, that is a real thing. People are doing those kind of numbers. They're running paid ads and organic. They're doing short form content, long form content. Then they install a DM setter, and they basically have like a free community and or like a low ticket subscription, right? So like hypothetically, let's just say you were looking into losing weight and you were wanting help with that. You might see somebody's like $5 workout program, and you invest in that. Basically, after you invest in that, they're going to have appointment setters that end up calling you to basically see potentially if it'd be a good fit for you to work more intimately with the person at a more expensive offer, right? Or like, I'm sure you see free Facebook groups, free Discord servers, free school groups where people get you in there, and then they have DM setters basically going in and contacting all of those leads in an attempt to send them to a sales call, and then the sales call is the offer. So you're not selling the program, you're selling the call, right? And basically, like, you guys watching this video right now, you're actually in my funnel. You're like in this long form piece for YouTube content, in which, like, I'll talk about this more in a second, but you guys are basically in the funnel right now, just to kind of give you an idea and a perspective of what I'm talking about here. And so basically both of these two offers, they need appointment setters. They need people that are going to go in and do the work of converting attention into money. And this is a great skill for you to be able to do. So yeah, that's kind of like understanding the principles of step one here. But like with this alone, you're not going to be able to find success. Even if we skip the next little bit of this video, like if you skip the next 2-3 minutes or so here, and you go watch step 2, step 3, that's not going to be enough, because you could work as hard as you want. You could understand the industry as well as possible. But if your mindset isn't dialed in, you're not going to find success. And that's the unfortunate reality of this situation. So if we actually scroll up here, kind of diving into this further, there's really like 4 main pieces that are like really holding you back from making 10K per month and getting to where you want to be. And this is why most people don't reach 10K per month. Not everybody makes 10K per month, despite what the online gurus say, right? And so most people's mindset hold them back. Mentor, beginner unfriendly business model. So people always talk about beginner friendly business model, but most actually aren't beginner friendly. And then an unclear path to scale. So the problem right now is that your mindset isn't 100% dialed in. You think that like you need to do all this like self-improvement stuff when you don't really need to. You just need to find the right model and do the work. You also have like false limiting beliefs around money and around work that is causing you to like stay stuck. And then also like you're faking productivity. So by watching a ton of YouTube videos every single day, you might think that's productive and it might feel good, but it's not actually doing the work. And that's why you stay stuck. And then like some people have this dialed in, but they think that they don't need a mentor for some reason, which is it's just insane to me, because you're basically saying that like you value money more than time, which time does not equal money. Time is way more valuable than money, because if I told you that you were going to get paid $10 million today, but you can't wake up tomorrow, you wouldn't take that. So time is actually far more valuable than money. And then people say like, oh, well, I don't need a mentor because it costs money. Well, okay, then you're wasting time in this life. Or they invest in a mentor, but it's a bad one. And it's a low quality person that doesn't have good morals, ethics, and they don't even know what they're talking about. They haven't been in the game long enough. Or their mentor like takes them through step 1 here, right here, of just like understanding the business model, but they don't actually teach you how to make money inside of the business model. Okay. And then most people actually don't start beginner friendly business models. They start beginner unfriendly business models that are too complex. They require startup capital. And this causes people to end up having shiny object syndrome, where they jump from business model to business model over and over again. I did that myself when I first got started, so I get it. And this keeps you stuck. And then even if you have all this stuff dialed in, if you don't have a clear vision on how to actually make 10K per month, it's not going to matter. If you're not getting feedback from the market on how you can get there, if you're stuck in like a bad position, let's just say you do land a client, but it's a shitty one, you're not going to get to 10K per month. And if you're afraid to fail again, like you've tried a business model before and you failed with it, maybe it cost you some money. If you're like afraid to fail again, you're going to stay stuck. And so if this stuff isn't dialed in, despite how hard you work and despite what business models you try, you will never be successful. That is the unfortunate reality of the situation until you dial this stuff in, right? So with that being said, that's kind of like step 1 here. Now in step 2, we're going to talk about landing our role, which is going to consist of profile optimization, outreach, and interview. So let's get straight into that here. So this is the appointment setting 30-day roadmap, right? So we learn the skill, just like I talked about in step 1, that usually takes like 3 to 7 days. We also focus on like dialing in your mindset. And then after that, we start the process of doing cold outreach to land a client, which I've seen happen as short as like 2 days. And I've seen it take as long as like 30 days, assuming that you got the right strategies and whatnot. And then also like landing your client obviously takes a similar amount of time as doing cold outreach would to land your first client. Now, with that being said, inside of my one-on-one coaching program, just a quick plug, we help you skip this entire process, because we actually provide job opportunities to people in there so that you don't have to sit there and do cold outreach all the time. I'm still going to teach you how to do this in there, because it's an important skill to have, and you can forever make money without me, which is good. But like, I'll literally just provide you opportunities so that you can just skip this and just dart past this. Um, and then after that, we need to set appointments, and then we need to collect money. That's basically like the roadmap, right? So you learn the skill, you start landing a client, you start the process of landing a client, and then you work with that client and you make money. Like it's literally just like if you were getting like a better job. Like think of it like that. And then people here, after they make money as an appointment setter, which is usually like 2 to 5K per month, it could be even more than that depending on the offer. Then they transition into doing high ticket closing, where you're not sending DMs, you're actually jumping on calls and selling an offer, right? So with that being said, like step 2.1 here is going to be cleaning up your profile. So if we look at like 2 examples here for people doing outreach, let's just take like this guy versus this guy. If these 2 people were outreaching to businesses, who do you think realistically would land a client and who wouldn't? Well, if you have half a brain, you'd know that this person would land clients and this person wouldn't. Like, get the anime profile pictures out of here and like post some tangible content of you like showing off your life and make it seem like you're a real human being. Like this literally, like, I love the message, but this literally looks like a bot account versus this person. It looks like a real account. They have some status. They have like some story highlights. They look like they're living a good life. And if this person was doing outreach from their account, they would have a much higher probability per message that they send that they land a client versus this person. And then once you kind of have your profile dialed in, just like this, then you want to go out and find ideal clients. And so when you look for ideal clients to work with, you ideally want to find somebody that has 20,000 or more followers, which is a good indicator that they have good lead flow, whether this is from paid ads or organic. If they have 20K followers, this is really like a strong indicator that they need appointment setters. Other people sometimes that have less than this, they're just a little bit too small in most cases to even need or warrant an appointment setter in a lot of cases. You can still find good people. Like one of my students, Jared, who made 1K in a day, has a client that has like 4,000 followers, but it's because he's running ads, right? You also want to find somebody with good proof of concept. So somebody who's actually has a good offer and they're getting their students results. And then you want to basically look for an application to book a call in a bio, which signifies high ticket versus like somebody just selling a course, right? So if you look at like a couple profiles here, I got Sanders Stage, Jack Hopkins, and Brian Mark here. Like they have links in their bio that go to an application, right? He also has good follower count, 20K plus, and then he has good proof of concept. So this would signify a good client here. Then we have Brian Mark, 200K followers, so that's checked off. Good proof of concept, gets like client wins, so there you go. And then he also has like in his bio, he says, DM me 10K for more information. So basically this is an 100% fact that he needs appointment setters because he's literally saying like to his audience, DM him for more information. So he needs somebody in the DMs to actually respond back to people, start conversations and whatnot. And then Jack here, right? He has a link in his bio. And if you click that link, it doesn't just go to some shitty online course. It's an expensive item. He has the followers. He has the proof of concept, right? So these would all check boxes as ideal clients. They have 20K plus followers. They have good proof of concept. They have an application to book a call in their bio, which signifies high ticket, or they say like DM me, which also signifies high ticket. And then they have like a great vision. And so then when it comes to actually outreaching people, it's pretty straightforward. We usually use what's called the chaining and the connections method. So like you basically go out and you find an ideal client. And then what's very common for these people that run these kind of businesses is they're also friends with other people that run these kind of businesses. So like Sander, for example, if I was first looking into a role, I'd find somebody like this. Boom, you have an ideal client. Then I'd go into the people that he's actually following to look for connections. And then I'd go look through that and I'd see other people that might also be ideal clients. And then I'd literally repeat the process. And you basically start with one and then it branches into like 399. Not all of these are going to be perfect. So let's just say half are. So you start with one, now you have 200 people. And then for each one of those, you can open up and find more people, right? And you can literally just repeat that process over and over again. That's what we call like the connections method. And then the method of outreach that I recommend is a loom approach, where you actually create a conversation with them. you get them to show interest. And then after that, you create a Loom video that's like 2 to 3 minutes that is an introduction of yourself, who you are, and whatnot. And then after that, then based on that interview or based on that Loom video, people are going to be like, yes, I'd be interested in working with you. And then boom, you jump on an interview. And then step 2.4 is going to be jump on the interview, close the deal, get a 5 to 10% commission agreement. Try to shoot for obviously as much as possible, but talk that over with the business owner and try to go for 5 to 10% commission of the closed deals that you set. And then basically, then your job is going to be, let's just say you end up working with Sander here, then you're going to be working with him either on his Instagram or maybe some other platform out there that you might have, where you're going to be focusing on converting people that show interest and are interested in working with him. You're going to be focusing on dragging them through the step of getting them towards the coaching program, right? So pretty cool stuff. And if you guys, real quick, I actually did provide this here, like for your introduction video, because I don't want to just like skip over this. For your Loom introduction video, you're going to want to say something along the lines of like, hey, like whatever their name is. Hey, Sander, my name is Trevor. I'm 22 years old and I live in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And then you want to provide some value and compliment them first. I've been following you for a while now, and I'm very impressed by the fact that you've been posting so consistently. It seems to be working really, really well for you. And it seems like you have good proof of concept here. I'm sure you get absolutely swamped in the DMs, but I was curious to see if you or your sales team have been able to stay on top of everything in the DMs. If you have space available, I'd be more than happy to help you guys out with setting appointments and closing deals if you need. And then in terms of my experience so far, like if you have experience, you talk about that here. If you don't, you just talk about the fact that you've been like practicing and whatnot. And then if you do decide to move forward with me, you have my word that I'll be focusing on the small details, not just like most salespeople. So basically, like you can just copy this pretty much verbatim. And then, yeah. And then also like something that I recommend is throwing in some sort of personal story here about why you'd be qualified. And then you do a closing statement, right? So this is what your personalized Loom video is going to consist of that you can send over to people. Okay. Now, when you actually do land your client, what do you actually say in the DMs to convert the people that are interested into sales calls, right? So I'll provide you 2 examples here so that you can tangibly see it. You basically want to follow the formula of like ask for consent, go into questions, go into point A questions, go into point B questions, which is building what we call a gap, and then you offer the call, right? So this might be a little complicated, but bear with me here. So somebody shows interest. Let's just say you end up working with Sander here, and somebody shows interest on his account. They're like interested in working with him and learning how to like make money with his process or whatever he teaches now. Then you could be like, hey, Name, I'm happy to share more information with you. You mind if I ask you a couple quick questions to see if I can help? Then they're going to respond. Then you're going to say, awesome. What would you say is the biggest thing you struggle with when it comes to making money online? They're going to respond. Then you're going to say, yeah, I totally get that. I've been through that myself. Or, you know, you've helped a client in a similar situation. How long has that been going on for? Boom. Oh, it's been going on for 2 years now. I've been looking into making money online. Oh, I see. Yeah, when I was first getting started, it took me 2 years as well to start making money online. What's the goal for you right now? Boom. Yeah, super realistic. Making 5K per month is super doable. Why is that important to you specifically? Boom. I love it. Do you want some help getting there? Boom. Tell you what, why don't we set up a quick 30-minute call? So you're not selling the program, you're selling a call like we talked about earlier as an appointment setter. And so basically you're doing the work here of taking the lead that is interested and converting them into a sales call. You're doing that gap. And then a high ticket closer is going to be doing the rest where they jump on the call that you book and selling the program, or the CEO is going to do it depending on the company that you work in. And so if you follow this, it should be pretty good. It just depends on what offer you're pushing. You might have to change the questions a little bit. Here's another example. Somebody was showing interest. I think this was more of like a B2B offer where they're teaching people how to scale their coaching business. So this guy shows interest. Yo, Will, just saw your message now. Here's the strategy. So it was an offer teaching in-person coaches how to transition into doing online coaching. So send that message. Boom, 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 boom. Then we ask, I'm actually just going to go in the middle here. Let me ask you this. If you were to find the right platform, is there any ideal monthly income? Boom, boom, boom. Just for comparison, where are you at right now? So again, point A, point B. What do you think is missing? Boom. Well, to be honest with you, I think you'd crush it with our process. You down to jump on a call with my team. And then he's like, yes, I'm open for that. And this person ended up closing, right? So this is a perfect example of like following this formula where we do consent. We ask questions, point A, point B, where we build a gap. Where are you at right now? Where do you want to get to? What got you interested? And then if it makes sense based on what you guys talk about, then you offer the call only if they're qualified, right? So this is basically your job as an appointment setter. And if you thought that I was just going to hide this behind some sort of paywall like most people would do, then you're wrong, because that is not my type of content, if you guys know by now. Cool. So that is step 2 here. If we go back to our 10K per month roadmap, that is step 2. So we went through step 1 where we dial in your mindset. I provided the example up here earlier about this stuff. Then we have step 2, which is an industry overview. What are the funnels that people are running right now? If you want to go back and rewatch this a couple of times, might help. And then understanding their systems and processes. Then after we understand this, then how do you actually go about landing your first role? So I show you how to do that, dial in your profile, get some outreach going, land an interview, and then how do you actually do the work for the client? Now we're going to be talking about step 3. Real quick though, what I think is really important is step 1 and step 2 are more of like the fast steps, right? So step 1 can realistically, like if we go back to the appointment setting 30-day roadmap, step 1 takes like 3 to 7 days. Like it's pretty quick. Like you can learn it really fast. Step 2 of landing your role, it can take anywhere from like 20 or from 2 to 30 days. So it can take a little bit longer, but it can also be really quick. Step 3 though, this is where it takes some more time. So while this might have taken you like 1 month, let's just say to be conservative, step 3, this is going to take you years, because the truth of the matter is sales is one of those skills that you never truly 100% master. Like even for me, I've been doing remote sales for 2.5 years. Like I told you guys earlier, I still am not 100% perfect at remote sales. Like I still have a list of like things that I need to do better and get better at. Right. And so that's the case forever. So I figured I'd just like preface that for you, because step 3 can literally take you like for the rest of your life, which is actually a good thing, because it shows you that as you keep getting better, you keep making more money. It's a skill-based position, which is important. So yeah. And then with that being said, like this is the remote sales 3-year roadmap, right? So you have appointment setting where you first get started, and you can make like 3 to 8K per month with that. Then what most people do is when they get towards like the higher end of making 3 to 8K per month, maybe they're making like 5, 6, 7, 8K. Then they transition into doing high ticket closing, where you can start pulling in between 5 to 20K, usually just depending on the offer. And then on top of that as well, then some people, what they end up doing, so they first started off as an appointment setter, which is like more of an entry level position. Then they end up doing high ticket closing. Then what I teach a lot of my guys to do is, instead of just like going out and starting your own business after high ticket closing, which is also not a bad idea, it's important to understand a couple more skill sets first. So what you actually do is, instead of just doing high ticket sales for a company, you start to take control of other parts of their business, like helping them with marketing, helping them with content, helping them with, you name it. You basically ideally go from just being a high ticket closer, where you have one piece of the puzzle of the business, and you start slowly but surely taking over more pieces of the business that you're working in. And this is what we call a leverage consultant, where you can usually make 15 to 30K per month, because you can basically take what you were making as a salesperson, get a higher stake in the business, and also help the business grow, right? Hopefully that kind of makes a little bit of sense. If it doesn't, no worries. Just watch this video back a couple times and you might understand it. And then after that, this is where then I recommend most people to either start some sort of coaching program or online course, or they can take their skill now as a leverage consultant and basically build their own agency, where you can usually make between like 20 to 100K a month. And now think about this just as like a little perspective here. People like Iman and other guys out there, they'll teach you like you're right here. This is where you're at right now. And they'll teach you to like start SMMA, or they'll teach you to like start drop shipping, or they'll teach you like all these other business models, but you're skipping all of these important steps that you need to go through to build skills and to become more valuable to the marketplace before you do that. It's like, it makes total sense why SMMA has like a 10% success rate. It's because you're starting down here. Why would you do that? Like, I guarantee you, if you start here and you start going through this process here and you take a little bit more extra time and you go through some of this work of building a skill and making money still in the process, but just not like millions yet, you build a skill, and then after you're valuable and after you have skills, then you can start SMMA. And guess what? It's easy. Like, I basically did this. I went from being an appointment setter to being a leverage consultant to starting my own agency. And when I transitioned from being a leverage consultant to starting my own agency, our agency went from 0 to 50K per month in 4 months. Like, explosive growth. Why? It's because I went through these first steps first and I build more skills. Right? So with that being said, guys, like, don't rush through this process. And this is the reason why most people fail. It's because they try and like start down here. They want to like make millions overnight. No. Calm down, play the long game. Don't try to get rich now. Try to get rich for sure. Because if you follow this roadmap, you will get rich for sure. If you try and start down here, there's like a 10% chance that you'll make money. What do you want to play? Do you want to be rich for sure? Do you want to eventually move out of your parents' house for sure? Or do you want to invest in an SMMA course and start an agency and all this stuff where you have a really low percent chance of succeeding and then like fail and then be even worse in the hole? You tell me. So with that being said, now I want to talk about like appointment setting path with and without a mentor. So I briefly alluded to the fact that you need to hire a mentor earlier in the video because I think that time is far more valuable than money. And that's what a mentor effectively is doing. They're helping you speed up the process of results. So what could take you 10 years on your own, which is still awesome. You still made millions, but it took you 10 years. It could take you 3 years working with a coach or a mentor, right? Hypothetically, that's just an example. But this is the path without a mentor, right? So it takes you forever to end up landing your first role, or you land a role, but it's a bad role because you never got help from a mentor on what you should and shouldn't do. So you have like no earning potential, and it's really hard to work with them. And so then it's like, okay, like I'm making a little bit of money now. I'm like slightly above the baseline, but now I don't have the proper DM scripts and I actually can't set enough calls. Like my skill isn't good enough with the client I'm working with. So actually, ironically enough, not only are you not making enough money, but you're actually screwing over the business that you're working in as well, right? Something to think about there. And then you get to this point where after going through that, you blame the failure on the business model that you're in or on the client that you're working with, and you switch to a new flashy business model, right? So you go through this and you're like, screw this doesn't work. I'm going to try drop shipping. And then guess what? You start drop shipping and the same exact process happens over and over again, right? And then you end up quitting and you're like, ooh, I'm going to try stocks. I'm going to try investing. And then you lose all your money and you gamble all your money away. Why? It's because you didn't work with a mentor. And now you don't know how to scale. You stay stuck and you just like literally work a 9 to 5 and you're just like an NPC for the rest of your life. So that's the reality. Whereas working with a mentor, this is kind of how it happens. Like landing your first role, that's like an exciting thing over here. That's like a win. For us, that's like step 0. Like we don't even get to work until we land a client. Where inside of like, if you decide to work with myself, with working with me, we teach up-to-date outreach strategies. So not like some old shit that doesn't work. We help you build personalized goals and help you actually stay accountable to doing the work every single day. So there's no slacking. And then also you have access to my network where, again, like I showed you over here with the appointment setting 30-day roadmap, like you can kind of skip a lot of this stuff. All right. So we have this under the baseline because this is literally just like a fundamental thing. Like, this isn't exciting. We're not like, yay, we landed a client. Like, no, you land a client, it's like, okay, now it's time to get to work. Whereas most programs, they'll teach you like how to land a client here. And then it's like, yay, you landed the client. Now I'm done working with you. Like, no, this is when we start actually working. This is when we get to work. This is when it really starts. This is when the process like really starts going. And then you, like if you're hypothetically working with me, we start setting the client that you're working with more calls using our proven DM scripts. So like these, basically like these rectangles and these blocks are just like pushing this more and more above the baseline. We dial in your setting skills to schedule even more calls by doing like one-on-one DM reviews, weekly coaching calls every single week, focusing on just like getting better every single day, every single week. And then on top of that as well, when your skill is valuable enough, transitioning into higher paying roles so that you can make more money, like high ticket closing, like being a leverage consultant, like starting your own business, right? The way that we do that is one-on-one client offer review, advanced level sales, customized scaling roadmap, right? So with that being said, hopefully you guys got some value out of this video. With that being said, like you guys should be able to take all the information in this video if you so choose to start making some money. Like that's the reality of the game. Like you can take all this stuff and you can start getting to work and start making money. But again, like we talked about, I mean, if you are just like completely broke right now, maybe it's not the best move for you to work with a mentor. But even if you just have a little bit of money, I would highly recommend working with a mentor because you're going to spend that money and you're going to build more skills, which is actually going to pay you. It always comes into fruition. And it's one of those things where, again, your time is more valuable than the money that you have. Money is literally just like a tool, whereas time, it's the most important thing in the world, in my opinion. Like, again, I want to use this analogy because I think it's so powerful. If I told you you're going to make $10 million today, but you can't wake up tomorrow, would you take that trade? No, you wouldn't. So that means that one day of your life, or like being able to wake up tomorrow is more important than $10 million. So time does not equal money. That's BS. Time is far more important than money. And so by working with a mentor, if you want to work with me, great. If you don't want to work with me and you want to work with somebody else, I still advise you to do that because working with a mentor helps you speed up the process. And at this point, if you're like, Trevor, dude, thank you so much for the value. It's been awesome. I want to work with you. Then what you can do is you can book a call in the link in the description if you got a little bit of money saved up. And you and I can jump on a quick conversation where we can see for sure, based on where you're at, if I can even help you. And then if I can, I'll walk you through a little bit more about like kind of like what my process looks like here. I briefly talked about it here, but I'll dive into it even more and you can see if it's something that you would want to be a part of. But other than that, hopefully you guys enjoyed my full breakdown video here. This is like the first of many on this channel. But yeah, guys, if you guys want to learn a little bit more about that mentorship, you can book a call. But other than that, you guys have a fantastic rest of your day.